What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. This week's episode of Atlanta really shows you how far the season has come since the beginning episode. This week's episode, titled Woods, is real serious. There's really only one moment where I laughed, and that's when Paper Boi is in his apartment. He goes to the kitchen. Darius is in there making pasta. And Paper Boi says, "Where you learn to make pasta?" And Darius replies, "In a dream." Of course, Darius has the only funny moment in the episode. But watching this episode and thinking back to previous episodes got me thinking about the connection between Robin's season and us as an audience. I've already talked about how Robin's season has many different layers and dimensions in previous reviews for this season, but now I'm realizing we're being robbed as well. In season 1, there was so much comedy. There was all these funny moments. And in season 2, we got them like in the beginning, but as you go on, if you watch it in order, you start to realize that we're not getting as many funny moments anymore. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't get a single laugh in the next 2 episodes that wrap up this season. So anyways, this episode revolves around Paper Boi. First things first, I noticed that he has a new apartment. That's pretty cool. It was just like something that if you're not really paying attention to it, you might not notice it. But I was like, wait, this... Okay, in the beginning, the layout looks similar. Paper Boi's on the couch. His mom's cleaning up. We get a little cameo from Mama Paper Boi. And in the kitchen, I'm like, okay, this kitchen's definitely different. And then they go outside, or Paper Boi goes outside. I'm like, oh, definitely has a new place. So this episode starts out pretty tame. It's just Paper Boi and his girlfriend Sierra going around doing some stuff. They go get their nails, or they go get their feet done, and that's where everything pretty much blows up. At that point, Paper Boi is just, he's sick. Like, we've seen him this entire season, and even back in season 1, he's been over fame. He does not like the success. They're in the car at one point. His song comes on the radio, and she's all hyped. And he's just sitting there like, he throws like a little smirk on to sort of like entertain her. But then he looks away, and you can tell he's over hearing it. He's over this fame. In one instance, I understand it, because it's like, you've heard your song on the radio a lot. It's not as special anymore. But I don't know, it's something about the way that he looked. You can just tell from his demeanor that he just did not care. And that's pretty much what Paper Boi's arc has been all about this season. It's about him not being able to adjust to fame, or not wanting to adjust to fame. It's very evident in this episode. After he has a fight with Sierra, he leaves. And the fight was caused because Sierra wanted to make things official and team up and sort of build both of their brands together. It's clear that they have an attraction for each other, but Paper Boi doesn't want anything serious. He doesn't see it the way that Sierra does. Sierra, she has adjusted to her Instagram fame a lot better than Paper Boi has to his rap fame. She embraces it. She's like, you need to go and get on Instagram more. You need to be getting free stuff. Your manager should be doing that. So she is indirectly causing more of that rift between Earn and Paper Boi. And speaking of Earn, he doesn't appear in this episode, but in the beginning there's a phone call, and Earn mentions some papers that Paper Boi needs to sign. And I thought, okay, we're gonna hear more about that in this episode. No, but I want to speculate and maybe say it has to do with Earn managing Paper Boi. Maybe he's been doing it without actual paperwork, which is very bad business, and likely will end up being the cause of them not doing business anymore. Because it seems like everything's about to come to a head in the next 2 episodes. So once Paper Boi leaves, he's on this walk, and we get the most intense scene in Atlanta's short history. I am watching this scene, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's about to happen. What is going to happen? He is approached by 3 younger males who act like fans. They're like, oh, you're Paper Boi, you know, we're a big fan, and we've been with you since the beginning. And then you slowly start to see them surround him just a little bit, and then he gets ice thrown in his face, and they hit him, he's all bloody, and one of the dudes pulls out a gun, and Paper Boi's wrestling him, and it was really intense, because it wasn't just like a quick thing. In the episode with Teddy Perkins, you had like the shotgun blast, you're like, oh, damn. But with this, it's more like riveting. You're on the edge of your seat wondering, is Paper Boi going to shoot somebody? Is Paper Boi himself going to get shot? Where is the episode going to go? And then the title of the episode brings us to our 3rd act, titled Woods. I think that when they first started going in the woods, it was a real genius scene, because it took Paper Boi out of his element and made him vulnerable. He's running, he's out of breath, he's bloodied mouth, all of that. And one of the nice touches that are, you know, real subtle was like when he's running, and in the background you can hear one of the guys say, Paper Boi. Like it's real menacing the way he says it. And that sets up the 3rd act of Paper Boi walking through the woods. And before we went to this commercial, at the end we get this overhead shot of the woods. And I think it is a brilliant shot. It's one that, if you're not really thinking too much about it, you're just like, okay, it's a shot of the woods. But really, it shows you how far in he is in the scale of the woods. I thought that is like a brilliant little shot to do. So when we come back, Paper Boi is essentially on a vision quest. Now, I don't know if that old man was real or not, or if it was just a figment of Paper Boi's imagination. But it was a nice touch, because this guy, real or not, was saying all the things that Paper Boi needed to hear. I think this episode really shows the actor's range as Paper Boi. Like, this was a really strong episode for him to showcase more than just being the tough guy, the guy who doesn't care about anything. This episode shows you that Paper Boi does have emotions. You know, he's kind of teary-eyed and crying towards the end of it. Then he finally gets out of the woods because the guy, real or not, says he's going to, you know, cut him and steal his hoodie, his shoes, his jeans, everything that he has. And nobody can stop him because they're the only 2 in the woods. The last part of this episode is great because it shows just a little bit of growth. Paper Boi in the corner store, and a fan comes up and says, "Are you Paper Boi?" Normally he would say yeah and try to keep it moving, whatever. But you can see that he wanted to change, so he's kind of standing there. He's still awkward. He's like, yeah, man. He's just kind of like staring at him awkwardly, contemplating what he wants to do. He's like, and then finally, you want a picture? It takes several pictures. He's still got a little bit of blood, like residue on his mouth and everything, but he's all, you know, taking several pictures, trying to be all nice. And then he says, "Be safe." Perfect ending line for what he went through in this episode. I think this episode was brilliant. This is one of the best episodes of season 2 so far. And I feel like it's only going to get better because the stakes are getting higher. We're getting closer to that moment where Ern and Paper Boi split. We're getting closer to the climax of this season. So I don't know what we're going to get out of the next 2 episodes. I'm just on the edge of my seat in anticipation for seeing where everything goes from here. So those are my thoughts on this week's Atlanta episode titled Woods. I want to hear from you in the comment section below. Did you like this episode? What did you like about it? Did you not like it? What didn't you like? Talk to me. Let's create some conversation. And then like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Share the video. Follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain. Check out some of my other videos, reviews, interviews, discussions, etc. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.